Hi, I'm David Kaufman, a product manager for the Assistant ecosystem, and it's a privilege to talk to you about some of the improvements we're bringing to the development platform. As you heard in the keynote, we've made a lot of progress since rolling out Actions Builder and SDK back in June. And I want to share some additional details about these improvements and walk through some of the new features and provide a sneak peek of those coming soon. First up are the new voices. Speech is a fundamental building block of the conversation platform, and even as we continue to invest in better visual experiences and capabilities, we want speaking to Google Assistant to be a delightful experience. Early in the platform's life, a lot of partners solved this problem with custom voice recording. But we continue to improve the quality of our voices, and we're excited with these new offerings. They're available to all developers now, and they have improved the intonation, and they sound a lot more natural.
This is one of the new voices and it's available through the Actions console. We hope it makes your actions more enjoyable for all your users.
Last year at I/O, we announced Interactive Canvas as a way to combine the power of voice with visuals and touch interfaces. It's available for smart displays, as you know, as well as Android devices, and it's based on open web technologies you're already familiar with, such as HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Now, back in June, we previewed continuous match mode, which allowed a Canvas experience to respond immediately to a user's speech, enabling more fluid dialogue and a more responsive experience. Today, this technology begins rolling out and will be available for select partners to build into their Canvas actions. I want to take a look at what's possible when we've started to move beyond prompt and response.
Circles. Oval. Instrument. Trumpet. Metal discs. Give me a hint. Give me another hint. Oh, toilet paper.
In the next session, you'll hear directly from a partner who has built with this capability, so I hope you'll stick around and learn from that. Next up, let's talk about ways we're improving the Actions Builder IDE. Now that you can visualize the entire conversation flow, it's important to make sure you're building a high-quality experience and can easily jump to different parts of your action to make changes and enhancements. This is one of the reasons we're introducing a fully integrated search bar. Searching inside Action Builder allows you to quickly find and identify all the different parts of your action, from prompts to intents to scenes and training phrases. What's more, you can jump directly to that part of the IDE and make changes. We believe that this will provide a better building experience and make it simpler to manage your action as it grows more complex. But that's not the only improvement we're making to help raise the quality of experiences. I suspect many of you have been testing your actions manually with a nearby device or with extensive cycles in the simulator. We know it's a pain point, and shortly we'll be bringing a new testing API to market. It's based on the simulator, and it will allow programmatic manipulation of your action and lower the effort to test all your most important user journeys. To get started, you define testing code as you normally do, using the testing framework of your choice. The client library will help you with all the frequently used assertions to streamline the development process. This testing API changes the paradigm of manually testing actions, and it allows you to write procedural tests and see results. We worked hard in the recent months to launch our new platform and increase the compatibility with widely adopted tools from the ecosystem. First, I'd like to talk about VoiceFlow, a collaborative design and prototyping platform that lets you quickly build and push actions for Google Assistant. We're happy to say that this has just become even easier with VoiceFlow's new Actions SDK integration. Let's take a look. Next is Jovo, a widely used framework that allows developers to build voice experiences that work across devices and platforms. Similar to VoiceFlow, Jovo has built a new integration with our platform to take advantage of the same improvements that are available for developers using Actions Builder and SDK. We're serious about having your business succeed with Google Assistant, and we recognize that serving users with premium or personalized content requires linking accounts with your services. As of today, developers can use Link with Google and AppFlip. Let's talk about how you build these into your experience. First up is Link with Google. A user begins their journey inside a familiar app, yours, where they've already logged in. A few clicks gets them through a complete account linking flow, and they don't have to re-enter their credentials. This eliminates the need to link accounts during the conversation. It increases the awareness of your Google Assistant experience from inside your existing app, and gives your users an authenticated experience when using your action. It works with both Android and iOS, and to take advantage of this, you'll need to use the authorization code flow version of OAuth. Next, let's focus on AppFlip. This is a great solution if your app is installed on the majority of your customers' mobile phones already. It will allow users to quickly link their existing account to Assistant by flipping to your app and avoids having to enter a password manually. This approach greatly increases linking conversion and provides a superior user experience. I want to talk about action links, which we're rebranding as Assistant links. These links can now support rich Assistant interactions such as account linking directly embedded in your website. We will also be expanding the reach of Assistant links beyond mobile, so your users can click to directly open actions on a smart display. With this capability, any user browsing your website from either their desktop or mobile phone can simply click and watch their smart display come to life to experience your action without using any special invocation phrases. Sharing Assistant links via social media is also a great way to harness the inherent virality of the web to drive additional adoption. Finally, to streamline the process of creating and managing these Assistant links, we've created a new web tool, which you can find via our documentation or inside the developer console. Now, one of the special things about smart home devices, and displays in particular, is that they're inherently communal. Whether you're contacting your family, sharing music, or playing a collaborative game, you're doing it together on the device. However, this has been a challenge from the developer's perspective, because sometimes you want to build a shared experience for everyone in a household and not have to manage individual profiles or accounts. That's why we're beginning to test household account linking. This capability will allow an identified adult to choose to share their state with all users of the device. As an example, let's say you're building a puzzle that everyone can work on as they walk past the device. Under the old paradigm, each person who invoked the action would receive a new instance of the puzzle. With household authentication, every user can share that experience. To enable this feature, you just need to select household account linking in the console, and each user will be prompted to share the account with their household during the linking process. Now let's talk about improvements we're making to the transaction flow on smart displays. We want to make it easier for you to add seamless monetization capabilities to your experience. Right now, when a user makes a purchase, they're sent to a mobile phone to complete the transaction. This isn't ideal for the user. So we're working to overhaul how transactions work so that it can be done either directly on the device or with the user's voice to significantly reduce friction. Our first step here will be launching on-display CVC entry early next year, and you should expect much more from us on this front in the next few quarters. Much of what I've shared today is only available on our new platform, Actions Builder and SDK, and we know that some of you have experienced great success with Dialogflow. Well, we don't want you to have to start from scratch. So we're releasing a migration tool that automates much of the work to bring your Dialogflow-based actions over to the new platform so you can take advantage of these rich capabilities. To get started, you pull up your action in the console and choose to preview the migration. You'll also see an option to learn more about the process, which will highlight how your action will be rendered on the new platform, and it will map familiar Dialogflow concepts to their equivalents. As we announced at the Voice Global event, the new platform has significantly reduced latency, so your users should have a better experience with your action even before you take advantage of all these new capabilities. Everything we've talked about today can be found on our developer site. What's more, with the recent success of games on smart displays, we've learned a tremendous amount about what it takes to make a great voice-forward visual experience that players also love. We want to share that knowledge to help developers like you succeed on our platform. And so we're launching a new games portal. Really, it's an in-depth guide on how to build great games for the Google Assistant. Here you'll find design guidelines for voice-forward experiences, case studies from recently launched games, and feature documentation to help you leverage the platform to deliver your creative vision. Additionally, we know many game developers have been asking for better tools to help improve their visual experiences. We're happy to announce that we are rolling out support for Chrome DevTools to allow developers to debug their interactive Canvas web apps directly on smart display devices. Check out the portal for these new resources and for information on accessing continuous match and all the latest technologies. Thank you for the attention, and I really hope you share our excitement for the platform. From adding new capabilities and better tools that unlock higher quality experiences, to improving account linking and transactions so we better serve your business needs, we're continuing to invest in making this a robust ecosystem for developers. Next, I'd like to introduce my colleague Niranjan for a conversation with one of our partners, CoolGames, that's on the leading edge of innovation for visual experiences. That starts right now.
Thank you, David. Hi, everyone. I'm Niranjan Kumar. I'm the gaming lead for the Google Assistant platform. I am incredibly excited to introduce you to Lawrence Rutten, who is the CEO and founder of CoolGames. They're a game development studio based out of Amsterdam, and they specialize in building HTML5 games across several different innovative platforms. Lawrence, I would love to give you a chance to introduce yourself and tell us more about the work you do at CoolGames.
Hi, Niranjan. Thanks for having me. It's a great pleasure to be here. And indeed, I founded CoolGames 10 years ago as one of the first HTML5 specialized game companies around. We focus on developing high-quality casual games. And we do that both with our in-house developed IPs, but also in partnerships with famous AAA brands, such as Tetris, Angry Birds, or Monopoly. And we have been launching games over many different HTML5 platforms over the years. And now Google Assistant is the latest one.
That's great to hear. I wanted to especially highlight the work that you've done with the hit game Guess the Drawing, where users have to race against the clock to try and verbally guess the drawing that's being pictured on the screen. I know you have a ton of history and knowledge of games, and I wanted to see what your thoughts were on how voice particularly has a role in the games industry and where you think the future goes.
Yeah, I think, of course, very good question. And honestly, if you would have asked me this question 1 year ago, I wouldn't have given it too much thought at that time. But of course, in the last almost 1 year now, 9 months, we have been working on a couple of voice-operated games. And I have to say that, I didn't realize before how naturally it can actually be to include voice for operating a game. And it feels just as a normal addition. And I think if you ask me, I would say this will become a standard on many more platforms. And I could totally see, for example, playing a PlayStation 5 game with both controller in my hands while also giving voice commands. Now that we have been in this experience, I think that would be totally doable, and probably many platforms will follow. That's what I think, and I wouldn't expect that 1 year ago when we sort of started looking at this.
Yeah, that's very exciting. I'm also incredibly curious to see what the future holds, especially in voice. I guess I have to ask, I know I'm very excited about the opportunities that developers have to build on the Google Assistant platform. What was the experience like building Guess the Drawing with the Assistant?
So I think you can say that on the technical side, if you are an experienced developer and you get all the tools and the setup and environment of Google, it's relatively easy to set up and to start working on game projects. One of the things we like very much in our studio, and the devs really liked, is that we could actually also use our own tools and our own engines that we built over the years and port them to also work with the Google Assistant platform. So the combination of the Google toolset that you get sort of out of the box when starting, and then the customization with our own tools and engines worked really well. I'm very happy about it, and especially my devs are very happy about that.
Yeah, likewise, same here. We love collaborating together, and I think that was our goal as well, to make sure that our tools complement yours as well in terms of building native experiences. Was it easy or difficult building Guess the Drawing?
So, having been launching games over many different platforms in the past, and also being launch partner for several platforms, I have to say that it was relatively good to do. I mean, again, making the game itself technically was not the biggest challenge, I think. I think the main challenge and the main learning for us was actually in how to build good voice games. What's a good voice flow? How does it work? What's a natural way of talking to your game? And I think that's where we had the most challenges. But all in all, it was pretty easy to actually develop games for this platform. It was quicker than we expected. I can say that. Yes.
Well, that's great to hear. That's what we love. for future voice developers who are building on this platform, what is one tip that you would highlight or recommend?
Yeah, I think that would be mainly on the game design side. And I would really recommend game designers to take time and think about what the voice flow would be. And again, if voice is first, forget the touch as the first primary control, but instead have voice as the primary control. What does that change to a normal mobile game, for example? And the best way of doing it is actually just start a project, test it, adjust it, iterate it, test again. And I think that's especially for people new in the field of voice games. I think that's where probably the most lessons are to be learned and some time needs to be taken.
I completely agree. I think voice design and conversational design is especially important, especially when you're building through to the game design for voice. Lawrence, I want to thank you so much for your time. I love Guess a Drawing. I love playing it and really enjoy the insights and the details that you provided on what it takes to build on the Google Assistant platform. We heard David speak earlier, and I'm also very excited to see the new features that we have and the tool sets that we have for our developers when they want to build native experiences on the Google Assistant platform. You'll be able to find all of these things on our Google Assistant developer website and be able to find all the tools you need to create really high quality, immersive voice experiences.